Hello viewers, I'm SB and welcome back to Pacific Drive, where today I think I've decided we're going to focus on getting marsh eggs before we move on to the next objective. I really want the repair station, so we got to get through this expanded matter regenerator build first, and that's going to require 140 more marsh eggs than we currently have. The good news is that's probably not that many like wrecks with eggs on them, honestly, but we do have to stop off and get them. So that's the plan for today. By the way, I looked it up, and that tool that I was trying to remember the name of that cuts parts off cars, it's called the Liberator. There's no V. It doesn't. Not only does that not start with a V, there's no V in it. I don't know what I was. Anyway, it's called the Liberator. Should we? You know what? Teach me about this thermal vac. What happened to this thing is so counterintuitive. Please teach me about the thermal vacuum. That's weird. I pressed space. Okay, so space to confirm. You can see that down in the right corner. When I hit space, it does that. This whole game, the whole fucking UI is so garbage. Okay, now it works. I just needed to go out and come back in, I guess. Also, again, I really can't stress enough how stupid this system is, where you have to go out of the console every time you want to grab an upgrade blueprint. Okay, so we can't do better. We can get insulated headlights, which are not really any better as headlights. They just have electrical resist. Well, they have a little bit more health. I don't know. I think I'm waiting for these reinforced ones. We just need a tiny bit of corrupted energy. I would love to be able to build a bio-lantern. I think that's a swamp coral problem. We need to scan a belching barnacle, which definitely sounds more like an acid swamp kind of problem, right? In order to unlock the armored panels. Yeah, okay. So we have 3.8 unstable power. Is that really where I'm leaving it? We don't quite have enough for the amp engine. I still haven't built a turbo light engine though, right? And it is just better. Well, miles per gallon's a little bit lower, but also, you know, we have so much gas now. Okay, you know what I haven't looked at in a while also is our personal outfit, but let's prioritize finishing new components for the car first. So, can't build a Liberator Part 2 because it needs just explosives. Just generic explosives. Picture of a round bomb. We could build... Why is it jumping so many entries when I press the button? We could build a normal Liberator if we're willing to spend all of our thermosap. Okay, the thermal vacuum, sadly, requires levels of thermosap heretofore unseen. Our hand vac's in pretty bad condition, right? I think it's pretty low. I'm gonna go ahead and build another one. I don't want to do this because it requires marsh eggs. I shouldn't have built the one that I did build. And I think our car's mostly in pretty good shape. We have one steel panel that's showing yellow. Why are you yellow? Boy, I really hate that I can't get a mouse over what these symbols mean. So it's got 10% impact resist and also 45% impact resist. Is that what... Why are those the same? The car's in like pretty okay shape. Obviously there are some parts that could use a little love. I mean, we have repair putty. We'll just tap these. By the way, the hood panel here is something that came out of, I believe, came out of the dumpster hole, and so, or maybe it was off of one of the cars that we took from in the zone. In any case, it's got its own sort of mystery machine vibe going on, and I think I'm just gonna let it be. rather than trying to match it. It seems to be doing fine. I won't be able to build a new plasma scrapper if we lose ours in the zone, but that's probably fine. So let's, before we leave, make sure we put away this duct tape. You know what else we need is expanded lockers. What kind of materials are further expanded lockers made out of? I mean, this is just 6 of 6. Or this is just steel sheets. We just have 6 steel sheets already. Let's go ahead and do that. It's an awful lot of drama for what is going to just be another locker standing next to the existing locker. Can we do that again? What's the next one cost? Again, just raw metal, and then they become pneumatic, which is... Okay, lets them use an underground storage space. I mean, do I have enough metal for 6 steel sheets? Is that a thing I'm interested in doing? So we're not taking the metal with us, right? So I won't be able to use it to craft on the road in any meaningful way anyway. Yeah, you know what? Let's just go ahead and do that. Just once again, try to make sure we get some on the road. Why would I install one outside? I feel like there's plenty of room along the walls in the shop. Okay, well, whatever. The important thing is that's there. And what I wanted to see was what the pneumatic upgrade looks like. Rubber, quite a lot of scrap. It's also got a circuit board in it, which we have the parts for. Nope, that's not the button for that. Okay, circuit board. And this is using actually a fair amount of unstable energy. So we get to pick which locker we want to apply it to. Obviously, I would prefer to apply it to the ones in here. Okay, so how big is the storage space now? Okay, the storage space is... Has it become infinite? I don't know if I like the fact that it turned into a list. Yeah, I don't know what to make of that. Alright, we have a dumpster pearl. The stuff that I didn't properly loot out after the last mission. Or before the last mission, rather. That I do want to make sure we get rid of here. So let's do that. The combustible gold shell probably is not coming with us. Yeah. Now that goes there. Oh, hold on. Given the amount of stuff I'm already holding, maybe this is not like the best idea. Another one of those decal kit Year of the Dragon things. Alright, sweep all that into there, and also that, and also that, and also that. So yeah, I don't know, if this can just hold everything, then... I don't know. Okay, we have one thing that goes to the detailing machine. I really do kind of hate that there's a detailing machine that you can put certain kinds of objects, certain kinds of cosmetic objects in, but not all of them. So the pirate ship is a what? Alright, what kind of... Nope, that's not what I wanted. Why is that even a button? The pirate ship is a hood ornament. Oh, yeah, okay, cool. You find this kind of stuff so rarely. You're finding paint and decals just constantly, just all of the time. Okay, this is a poster to install somewhere. Let's see what that looks like. Okay. Did the people who made that think that octopodes have shells, or... Here, this is a guitar. This will be perfect. Yeah. I was kind of expecting that to be laid out a little bit more. You know what? It's fine. So with that, I think we're... Oh, I didn't refill the gas. Or my own human health. Which is probably, you know, critically important. Okay, there we go. Alright, with that, we're about ready to go, but before we do... I meant to activate the Tinker Station first. We need a mechanics kit. We actually do have some this time. Don't we? Wait. That's a Did I need 2? Was I misunderstanding that? Yes. 1 colon mechanics kit, large space, and then in quiet brackets somewhere, written somewhere else. O2. Alright. Fine. Once again, the game's UI is bad in a way where it feels like the developers thought if they kept doing a bad job, they were going to win something. I think I'll make another mechanics kit so we have one. And then I will also... I mean, there's no reason not to have a full stack of electrician's kits, right? Alright, fix this quirk. I don't even know what the other 2 quirks are right now, I don't think. So, we'll just keep an eye on it. Is the quirk system good? I don't know. Kinda. I think my answer to that is going to be kinda. Alright, let's maybe like bounce these out to the sides, and then we can just tuck this thing in here. Okay, nothing freaks out when I slam the thing. So, we are eventually headed towards some Scorch, through some more Scorch. I'm gonna... So when we mouse over these things, we usually get an indication of like what other routes they allow. This one doesn't seem to allow any routes anywhere. This allows a route out to somewhere... Alright, well let's make a trip to this relatively easy spot over here. And just see if we can't collect some coral and stuff. Right? And also, let's not leave the transfer trunk in front of where I will want to be driving when I come back. I feel like I forgot to do something. I don't know what that would be. Is it worth it to have the fire... to take the combustible gold shell with us? Or maybe the secured gold you know what? Let's just rock. Car not on? Car not on. Can you tell that I do not drive in the real world? I'm licensed, but I haven't driven routinely in probably like well over a decade, and so I just don't have the muscle memory. It if we wanted to grab a larger amount of loot in total, I didn't even realize this area was swift storming. That sucks. Shoot, do we want to change up the plan then? I wonder how much will it allow me to change up the plan? Okay, I am allowed to go toward a place that's not on our listed route at all. Well, let's do that. Let's experiment with this thing. I've never really tried not driving toward the marked outcome area. Let's see what happens. So I think we'll just take this low tunnel path here. Burn through this nice and fast. Wow. This is a much more like functional facility than we usually see in these. Sorry, what is that? It's Diet Rocket. Sweet rocket cola. Who doesn't love a bit of rocket cola? So it's interesting that there is a door, a pretty heavy security door type thing for this room. And it's just sort of laying on the ground outside. That's a little worrying. Okay, but overall that was like... that was really good. It was really good loot. I think maybe the car is just trying to like say howdy to us when we get back. But honestly, the little animation that it keeps playing on that screen down there, very worrying. So the cover to that door is off. Yeah, no, that's accessible. Ever since we saw that tourist in one of these, I'm always a little nervous. I don't know. Everything's fine. Everything seems fine. What on earth happened to one of my tires already? I guess there's no reason not to fix it. Is it flat? It is flat. Alright, so we're going to come out of here, and we're going to have to make a pretty sharp right at some point. Oh, whoa. Okay, road's a little more wet than it looks like, I guess. Yeah, alright. So I've been thinking about the quirk system. Right, the quirks we've run into, the amount of effect they have on gameplay, like, is that system doing stuff? It's certainly adding a little bit to, like, the weirdness, right? Gosh. Well, like your car gets a little bit of a haunt in the wiring. It gives it the sense, like almost the feeling of behavior, but then the very mechanical way that you deal with it kind of leaches that back out, I think. Here's a question. Do I want to run back and hit that building? I think so. It's not that far back. I could take the car, but I actually am... I'm actually not going to do that on purpose. We don't have fuel? Eh. And I turned the car off, so that if this takes a little while, it won't be an issue. But yeah, there's that lab right there. I just want to hit that, and I want to take a nice evening constitutional. We don't spend a lot of time outside of the car. Frankly, there's a lot of things that seem like they're kind of only dangerous if you're in the car. A lot of the anomalies don't pose any threat, or at least much threat, to the lone wanderer. Sounds like things are being constituted outside. Just one of those big storms, I guess. Okay, well, let's head back. See, I mean, like, the long and the short of it is, I just kind of don't think that the quirk system seems to be adding very much, in part due to the very mechanical implementation of it. If it really did, if the things you had to do to purge your car of quirks were a little bit more involved, or a little weirder, or, you know, a little bit, like, them being more involved would be a good way for them to find room for a little bit of weirdness. I think it would really help to, like, come into the idea that, like, the car as a remnant is some, like, very strange, you know, sort of eldritch thing. As it is, it just seems like the car is of bad quality, and you have a magical machine that makes it that makes it functional. And both the behaviors and the process of hunting down the behaviors are just kind of tedious. It's not really adding anything. I don't know. It feels like a place where there was an ambition, and I'd be very surprised if it turned out that the thing they were going for is the thing that we got, you know? I haven't read anything about the development. Wow, we have a long way to go. And it's in extreme conditions. I wonder if this is maybe a good time to just not do anything except drive. I mean, we don't have Swift Storm. Man, the game does look cool. out here when it's storming and the lightning strikes, though. They've really nailed that. So yeah, we don't have Swift Storm, but I think all the same, I'm going to try to just stick to escape until we get closer to the exit. Once we're close enough that I feel pretty confident that we're going to make it, we can start thinking about like loot or whatever. We're fine, we're fine. I was really hoping not to tag that, but the car is wider than I would like it to be. Resisting the urge to take the Dukes of Hazzard ramp. That's why you're supposed to look forward while you're driving a car in a storm, by the way. That was me pretending to play badly as a lesson for all of y'all at home to take home and live with. Because I'm looking out for you, you know? You will just have to live with what you have learned from me. You know what? That anchor's right there. It would almost be insulting to the zone for us not to take it. Hold on a second. Alright, I see. It got a little bit hard to see where the turnoff was there on account of the super extra storm, which is currently just like yanking the car's steering column left and right, more or less at random right now, in case you're wondering, why is she driving like that? Okay, that turned out a lot better than it might have gone. Alright, we are now on the road that leads out. Come on. Beating heart, just give me a little love. There we go. Yay, watch the parts slowly turn green. Oh. I'm glad that I did stop off to read the anomaly files that I read. And that's the thing we need to, we still have a lot of in-world writing that we need to catch up on. Alright, I'm definitely not stopping off for that small anchor that's close to us now. But we might slow down and grab the last anchor, the larger one, as we approach. This is really a nightmare. Our visibility is so capped. Oh. It turns out all I needed to do was complain about it, and the game's like, oh, geez, I'm sorry, I didn't realize that was causing you problems. Here, let me just tone that down. This right-left that I'm trying to get around here is absolutely huge. Or I think it might have been a couple of right-lefts, just sort of awkwardly overlapping each other. Okay, well now that things are a little bit less desperate, let's take a moment here for some looting. Not much out here. Oh. This is not what I was expecting to see in here. Cool, cool, cool. Even cooler. Is any of this... that stuff's scrappable for sure. Alright, I tried to light that flare. It looks like it kind of worked. I was gonna say, I tried to light that flare while I was still in view of the tourists to draw them away from this thing, and yeah, sorta. I got some of that effect. There we go. At this point, we really are just accumulating gas cylinders. I don't think we've had use for one in quite some time. What was that sound? Things are very strange in this place. Not that that's new information. I still don't know what that one note meant by the things the puffers leave behind. I guess that's the anchor I was thinking about right there. May as well go grab it. Let's check this out first. Hi. I suspect I'm going to be jumping off of the stairs at some point in an attempt to leave. Alright, free stuff. I've been thinking about it, and it seems difficult to avoid a certain amount of damage. Like, there's no really fast, safe runs. Even on a fast run, some things can go horribly awry, and even if nothing goes horribly awry... Catch! Oh, Jesus. Okay, they don't like it when you do that. Good to know. And then their friends follow you. It seems like a certain amount of damage is just like going to happen, right? You're going to get all fried during the exit storm. Weird weather is going to find you. Things you weren't really planning on. So I'm wondering if, like, instead of trying to be quick and efficient with resource gathering runs, I'm wondering if you have to always accept that you're going to get mauled pretty bad. This wind. And so resource gathering runs need to just be like... Ah. Okay, if you drive the car directly at them, they leave a thing behind. But that seems to be... Well, I guess let's take a quick check, real quick. No, I think that's it. Yeah, I don't think it left behind, like, loot. They'll fuck you up on foot, but they will run away from the car. Interesting. Yeah, maybe you have to accept that, like, you're always going to take a certain amount of a beating, and so on loot runs, what you have to do instead of trying to go fast and efficient is prepare for it to be a big one and just make sure you're bringing home enough stuff that it's worth the effort. I don't know. To a certain extent, I bet the economics of all that are influenced by, you know, having unlocked the matter regenerators and the hello, beating heart, the repair station and stuff, right? So let's unlock all that stuff, and then we'll try to come to decisions about these things. These are a really neat design. For all of my difficulties with the game's UI and symbology choices, the actual visual design of just like the things in the world is top-notch or beyond. Top-notch 0.5. Ah, another one. Walked right into the side of the building because I was distracted. It's the sound of just being that close to the thing. I know in theory we don't have a lot of time, but... yeah, we're good. All right, almost every part of the car is back at maximum HP, although I still need to fix this tire. I think it's still healing us. Alright. That's a mechanics kit problem. Sadly, we only got one of these. And then I immediately damage the hood. That'll show it. I think it might be the case that there wasn't enough, the healing wasn't stopping because we hadn't fully depleted its reservoir of healing, because there wasn't any more healing to do in the way that it can do that. Okay, so we're allowed to go to D1. Dead end, do not enter. Yeah, we could. I guess we could just turn this into a scouting run to the Mires unknown. I certainly don't want to go to the Swift Storm node. So we'll just go from here to where it is dark. Try to get through that as quickly as possible. I haven't really gathered any fuel. I don't think we're desperate for stable energy anymore. Like, I probably just need to make sure I've gathered enough energy for the escape. Which, if we're going to that place in the Mires, the unknown spot, the escape will be 3 clim. And we don't need to have it all going in. Ooh, it's real dark in here. Alright, nothing in the fuel tank. This stuff and a new flare to replace the flare I used to get it. Some metals that I'm not going to bother with. My fuel's fine. Off to the right, there's some kind of something. You know what, actually, that's fine. There's supposed to be something right here. Huh. Very strange. Alright, what is this little shack? Well, first of all, I did not unload my car, so that's bad. Or unload my hands. But it looks like there's not that much to loot in here anyway. Make sure to put stuff in the trunk. Whichever trunk is most available. These abductors behave very strangely sometimes. Is it just waiting for me to get in the car before it'll grab? Or... I turned off the headlights. And guess what? Okay, so I guess they always just leave behind one of those explosive things. And a cloud of weird gas. Or one of those, not explosive, but propulsive things. Did I really take damage to another tire already? Jesus. It is just non-stop. Alright, let me pull off the road here at this little station. I hope this is not a mechanical problem. No, it's a yellow means sealing kit. I think this tire is getting ready to give up the ghost. That's what's happening there. Okay, normal dumpster, still fairly friendly. Does that door just lead outside? No, it does not. That is a room. That was weird. Why did he stop? I guess I've decided the player character is male. Or at least mask. There's a mask energy. I don't know. Yeah, it's weird that I couldn't maintain the crowbar in the door there. Ow. Okay, well, time to make another new crowbar. Can't even search the whole building. I surely have enough. Oh, this, okay. This was just the front of the building. That was not actually worth opening. What a weird little spot we found here. This building is sealed. Make sure, let's destroy all of the things that produce light. Would be a real shame if I could see what I was doing at all. Alright. I don't know. Let's just get out of here. I fixed the tire. Let's just go. So it would seem that actually this might be the best way to go here. Follow this road. Turn around at like the east edge of the map. And then take that northern road all the way to where we're going. There's a lot more searchable space here, but frankly, I just don't want to engage with it. It is possible that I just put us on dirt road driving for the rest of the way to the thing. Hold on, I don't want to swap roads here though. Yeah, it's hard to even tell sometimes that there is still a continuation of the road. It's a tiny bit incongruous. I like that that tourist caught mid rave dance pose. Are you going to try to grab me? Nope. Okay, cool. All right, I don't want to speak too soon, but I think we are clear of the darkness. And approaching the part of the run where things actually get difficult. It would have been good to refuel a bit somewhere around here, but I don't know. Let's just not mess with it, right? Okay, so from here we are moving on to the back roads. I don't think there's any reason to go to G2. If from D2 I went to D1, I wonder what would happen, because it doesn't have a marker for an escape cost. I guess we'll see. Maybe I wouldn't even be able to direct us that way. Alright, so we are going to need... Well, first of all, we're in fuel evaporative conditions. So that's not great, obviously. Maybe I just stick mostly to the road. Let's stop in and have a look at Rex. The hell is the gas tank? There it is. Because we should refuel where we can. I don't know how fast this fuel evaporation effect is, or if it's only in effect in particular places or whatever. You know, we should siphon where we can. Real quick here. So we're looking for swamp coral. In addition to eggs, like I said. Aha! That is faster. You are a giant orb. There's no arguing with that. This stuff is not swamp coral. Wow, this vac is actually, it'll pull the eggs from way further away than I am even aware of them being there. That's pretty rad. We should probably get back to the car. But yeah, so I came over here because I was curious about the big red things. And if we had scanned them, if there's anything we could do with them. What I might have learned is that the big red balloons signal the position of eggs. That was 106. We needed a lot. But remember, we're about to do another node. They don't all have to come from here. So hold on. There's all this like glowing coral on the ground. Is this stuff so? No, that's. I mean, it's different vegetation, but it's non-interactable. Creepy red lights always watching us. Because the thing is, we still don't actually know what swamp coral even looks like. The tire's busted again? I'm just gonna replace it. It's breaking like every 5 feet. These things do have a limited life. And I don't know if a tire breaking repeatedly is actually indicative of it reaching the end of its like hidden actual internal health bar or not, but it seems like it could be, right? So I'm trying to keep an eye out for anything that looks like, you know, plant life that is different from the plant life that we've been near, that we've seen, that we've scanned. Oh, wait. Got a marker there for a second. But no, this like rigid coral stuff is not anything. Obviously, we know all about the cough box and the airstrip and. All right. I guess let's just keep moving. Supposed to be a building. Oh, there it is. I see it. Okay. Let's take a real quick run over to this lab. Huh. Weird will-o'-the-wisps. I do like the plasma scrapper an awful lot. It does get the thing done quickly. Oh yeah, just look at that. Look at every single bit of that thing's mass wanted to come home with me. Are these lights just guarding? Yeah. Lead shielding and stuff. I forgot to check and see about our clothes. I was gonna look at upgrading the character, and then I was like, well, let's make sure we've done all the important car stuff first. And then I never came back to the sewing machine, I'm just now realizing. It's a disconcerting noise. I don't think I've gotten to scan one of these. We know that they will hurl themselves at us and do a huge amount of damage to the car if they are able. Do I have something on me? Why is my electrical system behaving this way? Because to be clear, that was not me flickering the lights and stuff. I was not trying to get the Shaggy Scrambler's attention. Dear car. Oh, wow. That is, in fact, an awful lot of fuel. I wonder if that Scrambler's still chasing me. Alright, so we still need to find probably like at least 100 eggs, although, honestly, with these eggs, that might only be one more deposit of them. And then I still don't exactly know what swamp coral looks like. I mean, there's pretty good odds that it's only in the, like, the marshy, watery places, right? That's what makes sense to me. We got a second here. We're right near the exit. Let's, like, let's take a second and explore. Pick up that steel sheet. Can I now? Are they two? Yeah, okay, they're 2x2. Okay, well, I'm not seeing any new kinds of plants or anything. Maybe it's just like kind of a rare phenomenon. Something in there this car doesn't want me to see. Okay, I legitimately can't pick that up. Is there something I would rather drop? No, probably not. I'm probably looking right past it. It's probably some kind of plant that's all over the place. Out of curiosity, you know, there's all these trees that have this, like, reddish coating. No. That's tree bark. It is not coral. Listen, things get colloquial names down by the bayou. It's not crazy. I'm not being crazy when I think that. I hope. Where is this turn off? How did you turn the wrong way? Yeah, there's the big giant lights. Doofus. So we unfortunately are leaving this area at 1.4. Dead end, do not enter. Ah, crud. This has that darkness. Alright, well, we're going to have to pick up a couple of decent-sized anchors here. I was kind of hoping to be able to take it easy at the end. But it's fine. Fine. Whatever. I really, really, really don't want to die out here and leave a remnant ghost that I feel compelled to go find, you know? So this is deep swamp stuff. What is that blue thing there? Come on, scroll down. I don't have any control over that, by the way, because again, the game's UI is insane. Oh, it's a stabilizer. It's a blue stabilizer. Okay. Well, I guess let's hang right and head in that direction. We're gonna have to get down there to the center somehow, and then, well, you know, one of the two ways that is available to us, and then from there, get those anchors, figure shit out. That, yeah, that's a gold tree. It's right on the edge of a hot area, so I couldn't tell if it was the hot dust or not. But no, that's definitely a tree with what looks like a corrodable gold shell. Getting pretty good at noticing. I mean, they're color coded in the most obvious way possible, but I'm going to take credit for this. I kind of can't believe how big the roof storage space is, and how accessible. Tourists to the left of me, so I go to the right. Yeah, it is unfortunately going to be harder than I would have liked to discover new kinds of plants and eggs and whatnot. Alright, I'm getting out of the car real fast because I don't think I've ever scanned one of these before. A belching barnacle. Okay. That was actually a really important scan. I don't remember why, but I remember it was one that we wanted. Road's still down there, it's just a little wet. Please don't belch directly on top of me. My search for anything that might count as swamp coral. There are tourists in this area, so I'm gonna abandon my flare and then run around away from it in the dark, and they can have it. I suppose what I really ought to be doing is making sure we're making it to the the anchors since we don't currently have the ability to survive. Let's maybe change that. Alright, that was a beating heart, but I don't think we're gonna need it. Alright, so the radio's flicking on when the front end bounces, seems like. Don't know what to make of that. Worry about it later. I'm going to turn it off, though. For right now, it's actually feeling a little distracting. No, hydroplaning. Ugh. Alright, time to test the theory. That's something. I see that over there. And I wonder. Okay. Looks like a pretty solid theory. The big red things indicate the locations of the eggs. Jam myself down into here. That's a backpack. Probably don't need to saw that in half. I mean, I don't need to saw this phone in half either, if we're getting right down to it, but... Something's happening to the car. Unfortunately, that was not a lot of eggs. I'm going to try to avoid that thing that's going to steal from me. It is very spooky how it just hangs there. Knowing that you are looking at it, knowing that you can see it, and simply not caring. That's one of the panels of my car. Can I get that back? Yes. Okay, so it can just steal pieces right off of your functioning automobile. Good thing to know. Also, it turns out I didn't need to sneak around because I was going to drive right next to where those red orbs were anyway. Bad tire, come on. Cannot catch a break. Alright, real fast. It is so much harder to drive with a fucked up tire. That's very bad. So obviously that tire is not an ideal thing either, and I think it's probably about to break itself. But it's the only spare that we have. Well, I guess I can probably build a new spare, can't I? What am I talking about? I can simply machine one. So I want to continue along. Watch the big red line. Continue along the road until over here. Yeah, actually, I want to cross this bridge too, for sure. I just got an achievement for remaining airborne for 6 solid seconds while driving, because this game has some issues. Oh, I wish I could just scavenge your off-road tire instead of having to rip it apart. You gotta build one of those liberators when it is safe to do so. Yeah, so ripping these armored panels gives me thermostat, which is actually extremely rad. But I want to be careful about how much I do it, because I only have so much use of my good scrapper left. Are we in position yet? Yeah. There it is. Take a hit off of some health items real fast. Ooh. If you are wondering why I threw my scrapper in the swamp water, it's because, you know, nerve issues. It's because of my damn twitchy hands. Was that enough? It was. Okay. Let's nudge on forward to this stabilizer. May as well turn this on, right? Hooray! The zone. It is now stable. I don't know if you've heard. If it's stable, why does it sound so much more menacing all of a sudden? Well, see, that's a great question. I think we should leave. Alright, here's the part where we just kind of drive into the swamp. We are unfortunately going to have to drive across an awfully large amount of water, it seems like. Hold on. Gold shell. Taking that. Put it in the thing, and then get back in the fucking car. Okay, it's all good. Let's drive, just turn around. Love to look down at my instrument panel and just see the word drive in giant capital letters. Yeah, car, I know. Thanks. It's fine. It's fine. We're good. It's fine. The road's still here. It's just underwater. Well, that circle's closing quick, huh? Trying to do the math real fast on whether I think we're gonna make it. Well, I guess it doesn't really matter. Okay, easy. I don't know what you were also worried about. That was easy. We were always safe. We stabilized the thing. We got some eggs, not enough eggs. I still don't know what swamp coral looks like. It's possible swamp coral might be in the scorch. You know? Absolutely could be. We brought home some energy. Not really that much. We brought home...
Hope you brought back some goodies.
We brought home not enough of the things that we need. I mean, I explored. We got a lot of resources. A lot of points of just like raw resources. And I guess that's worth something, right? Like, where's my case? I left it over here. Yeah, right now it's empty, right? I left it pretty empty. No, not even slightly. Well, never mind. I was gonna use that as a way of getting across how much stuff we took. Jeez. Let's put these in there. Yeah, jeez. Okay, Windows is making noises into my recording. Apologies, everybody. The height of professionalism. That's weird. And then also... Is there stuff in either side storages? No. So also there's just, you know, some of this. We got to figure out what we're doing with our tires. We got all these pearls. Let's go ahead and toss these in the depearlinator. Why is there so much... what do you call it? So much pressurized gas in there. Okay. All of it into the list where we will never see any of it again. Actually, yeah, this too, that too. Also you. I think this is how we're gonna hold our stuff from now on. Oh, and... Okay. Yeah, it was a lot of stuff. So I gotta pick all that up. I don't know what we're doing with this, but I gotta get it out of there so I remember. I'm gonna take this off of here too. I just don't trust it. This thing's going in the matter reclaimer. In fact, you're both going in the matter reclaimer. There it is. I knew one got away from me. I guess, actually, at this point, the thing to do is to take the transfer trunk over to here, point it at this, and just empty it. It does feel like at this point we're not super likely. More like a fax machine, am I right? It turns out I'm very, very easy. Look, the writing just got good. Ugh. Okay, yeah. Turns out everything's just going in that pneumatic locker forever. Alright, well... The upgrade that we wanted required, I think, close to 300 swamp eggs. And we... That's heartbreaking. That's so much worse than if it was like 233 out of 280. We were actually so very close. Very sad. Alright, that's going to be it for us for today. Thank you all so much for watching. On that deeply depressed note, that's where we'll stop. When you come back next time, I may have gone out on a quick run to just grab a very small amount of swamp eggs to advance that fabrication, because we do need to spend some time in the Scorch. And it's quite clear that there are not eggs in the Scorch. But we also can try to plot a route into the Scorch that goes through Egg Country now. I think we opened that up. I don't know. We'll see. When you come back next time, we are going to be going toward the next actual objective, and I may or may not have completed this fabrication on the way there. And we'll see you then.